Harvard, Caltech, Dartmouth, Brown, and Yale have all reintroduced the SAT-ACT requirement for their applicants. And I wonder why that is the case. I've taken the SAT, the new SAT, the ACT, GMAT, and GRE across a period of years. And there's a few things that I've learned about the purpose of the standardized testing method that I think is important to understand as you prepare for your own standardized test, be it whichever. I also think there's a particular reason why all these colleges and others think that having the SAT or ACT is an important ingredient for you to really be evaluated on merit. And I do think that having the standardized testing method, no matter how imperfect it is still the most efficient way we have to determine a candidate's effectiveness to get into a top school. So what's the first purpose these standardized testing methods serve? Well, on the surface, they test your general quantitative and reasoning as well as verbal skills. And that's a good proxy for how well you may generally be able to do, because testing how well you do on one exam on one date in English and math is probably not the best indicator of your later success, but it's a good indicator of how in the moment you're able to abstract away from all the specific things that you have been learning and really be able to be a generalist who is good at general quantitative and reasoning skills and general verbal, English and speaking or communication skills. And just having these two things broadly covered is a reasonable indicator of how well you're also able to do on the other things. And now again, this is a different ballgame altogether because taking this test is not for everyone. I, for one, have taken multiple attempts of all these standardized tests, but I've realized that there is a purpose as to why these tests do end up testing this general reasoning and verbal skills, because that's a good but almost correct or incorrect proxy for how well you do on some of the other things that you may later want to specialize in. The second purpose of these tests is that they're a general predictor or evaluator of how persistent you are and how competitive you can get. You see, because when you change context and when you isolate something and create a different set of contexts or criteria for success, which these standardized tests do, you're really able to gauge a candidate's ability and desire to get into a top school, because only if you persevere, only if you build that momentum, and only if you're dedicatedly consistent on one test and you are willing to ace it and go through the ups and downs, would you be able to replicate that in another environment as well. So understanding that ultimately these tests are also a test of momentum or persistence or how well you're able to stick through on one thing for a long period of time will help you purify your intention and clarify why you are doing what you're doing, which is to prepare for a general exam on one particular date, which just happens to test your reasoning or verbal skills. And finally, the third purpose that I was able to really understand and glean from the purpose of why these tests exist is because they really test your adaptability, how malleable you are, how fluid you are, and how able you are to change yourself and adapt to the external situation's requirements. Because again, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're able to perform very well on one particular test in one unique context, something that may never ever be useful to you later on in life, I think it serves as a good indicator to college admissions or other agencies of how you do everything. I think how you do anything is how you do everything has been a quote that has helped me in many fields, and these tests are just one more area for you to practice that. If you can be diligent, persistent, be at it, go through the ups and downs, adapt yourself to the requirements of a game, which is this test, this standardized test, you will be able to abstract away yourself from that skill set and apply that inherent personality trait into any other context or dimension as well. And that is more useful than just acing the standardized test. So what we really need to understand is that we're not just practicing for a test. We're practicing for how we can be good at many other things, and that's what these tests teach us, and that's what they taught me. I hope this video was useful. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and do share this with somebody who's going through the standardized testing procedure.